welcome guys. So we are going over the 68 Falcon. I wanted to give you guys an undercarriage view of the car so you guys can see what's the business going on underneath the car. So I'll start from my way, actually I'll start from the back and then work my way forward. So starting out back, you can see Curry 9-inch rear end, 370 gear ratio, true track posi. The car's been tubbed, got the Chris Austin G-Link rear subframe in there. Out back we're running a 335 3018 on a little Willwood 4-piston caliper brake. Here's where the fuel system starts. We go from a dash 10. This is an RCI 20-gallon fuel cell. We go from a dash 10 to a pre-pump filter, and then you have the Weldon pump. Coming out of from the pump, we go to, this is a deadhead return style. From the pump, we go to a dash 8, and then we take that up to a post-pump filter, and then we go all the way up to the regulator, which is on the top side, so I have to get up there to show you. For the Driveline, a 9-inch rear end, but we had this converted over a 1350 yoke, and then we had a strange 3.5-inch chromoly drive shaft balanced, and then going to a 256 Magnum 6-speed trans, and then we have a QuickTime bell housing, and then you can see the McLeod RXT twin disc, and then going up to the motor. This is a 430-inch Windsor with a AVA three-stage dry sump system. It's got a Jones racing drive, the AVA oil pump. So you can see there's 2 returns from the pan, and then 1 supply that feeds in over where the oil filter boss is. That's pretty much it. Suspension. Front suspension is a Detroit Speed Aluma Frame that was done by Dow Brothers Racecars. So that was installed. Some pretty trick. This system is pretty trick. It utilizes C6 spindles, JRI shocks. I mean, it's, you know, look at those control arms. Very, very structural. Then it utilizes a cradle similar to the C6 Corvette. So, and then we're running Willwood super lights. These are a 14-inch 6-piston caliper brake. And also you can see we safety wired the aluminum hub to the steel rotor ring just to make sure it never goes anywhere. But yeah, I would say one of the trick things about this, obviously the motor, but then also the Detroit Speed. That shit was worth it. That shit was worth it. For the exhaust, Dow Brothers Racecars did a custom set of 2-inch primary long tubes to a 3.5-inch collector, going straight out to a 3.5-inch Borla XR1 straight through design, and then right out the side. So there's really no restriction in this thing. And then there was also some rigidity done. Dow Brothers shored up the subframe. He added this bar there, which also he threw in a drive shaft safety loop. Props to him for doing that. But this thing here ties into the cross member, but it ties into the subframe that was added. And then this part here goes up through the floor pan and X's into the cage. So I don't know if you guys can see where my finger is, but that creates an X inside the car to the main hoop. And then following this this goes and connects to the G-Link third member. So the chances of this thing backing off or coming loose are slim to none. He repaired some of the previous work that had started to show fatigue, so that's all been repaired. But yeah, this thing's a beast, no doubt. I don't know if you guys can get an idea of the stance, but she is definitely stanced out. Once we bring her down, I'll show you guys the top side of the motor. But for my Falcon friends, I know you guys have been waiting on this for a while, and I've been out of town, so I haven't been able to get you guys any content. So this is kind of the first in a while. She's beefy. So you can see the cage up there. It's now an 850 cage. So before we had the main hoop, Dow Brothers added the A-pillar and then the crossbar, as well as the structural stuff we talked about underneath. So, I mean, she's ready to roll the fuck out. This motor is, she's a serious piece, ready to roll out. So, anyways, this is just kind of brief, but I wanted to give you guys this because my time in town is going to be very brief, and so I'd rather have something for you guys. This build is, you know, like I said, brand new. We got it running back in January. I jetted out of town. At the time, I probably had maybe 50 street miles on it, and I plan to put some more miles on it over the next couple weeks. There's a place where I'm going to take it to, where they can align the Detroit Speed suspension. So we're gonna get that alignment taken care of, and then we'll address a few other odds and ends on the car. But that's pretty much it. She'll be sitting like this for a while in this configuration. Here's all that front end business. Hope you guys can see that. Just getting some light in here. But if you guys hadn't seen how this exhaust, I mean, I'm just impressed by the exhaust job that Cole did. I mean, this shit is rigid. Most exhausts kind of you can move, or, you know, have some give. I mean, this shit is just pure race. There is no give in this exhaust. It's mounted to the chassis. It ain't going nowhere. So shout out to Dow Brothers for the custom headers, the whole front end on the Detroit Speed. CSM Racing engines delivering on the badass Windsor. Alright, so there's additional cage work we talked about. Added oil temperature and a flex fuel gauge. All the other gauges are the same. We just had to reorient them to make them fit. And then got the carbon fiber hood screw back on. Yeah, that's it. This thing barely closes with the hood on, so I mean, it barely closes, but it does clear. Get you a different profile lever. See, I mean, you can see the front. I love the how those front wheels tuck in. Again, we're gonna get those front fenders widened so we can get some 305, 315s up front, and then we're gonna put some super lights back here and Aero 6s up front. I think we'll be good. So again, guys, like I said before, just wanted to bring you guys something real brief. Appreciate the time, and we'll talk to you guys soon.